In this video, we are looking at zeros of algebraic fractions. Now, algebraic fractions of the form a over b are said to be 0 if the dividend or the numerator is equal to 0. So, in every fraction, we have the dividend and a divisor. In other words, numerator and denominator. So in this case, the dividend is the numerator, a over here. So for algebraic expression to be, or for algebraic fraction to be 0, the numerator should always be equal to 0. And so therefore, to find the zeros of algebraic expression or algebraic fractions, what you need to do is to equate the numerator to 0. And then you solve for the value or the values of the variable present. Now, whatever value you get is called the zeros of the expression. Now, this means that when you substitute or you put in place the value for this variable into the expression, the numerator will become 0. And that will set the whole or the entire expression to 0. Okay, so let's look at a problem over here. Now, there's a question here that says find the zeros of the expression x plus 2 over 2x squared minus 5x plus 3. So let's go back to the notes we have up there. So we say that to find the zeros of algebraic fraction, what we need to do is to equate the numerator to 0 and solve for the value or the values of the variable present. So we can see over here that the numerator is x plus 2. So we equate it to 0. So x plus 2 is equal to 0. Therefore, x would be equal to, therefore, x is equal to negative 2. Now, what this negative 2 means is that when you substitute it into x, it will set the numerator of the fraction or the algebraic fraction to be 0. So let's try and see. So our x is negative 2. So negative 2 plus 2 all over 2 out x squared. So x is negative 2 squared minus 5x. X is negative 2 plus 3. So we have negative 2 plus 2 is, so negative 2 to the power 2 is 4 times 2 here is 8. And then negative 5 times negative 2 is positive 10. And then plus 3 here. Alright. So the numerator is still 0. 8 plus 10 plus 3 will give us 21. So this is equal to 0. 0 because the numerator is 0. So 0 over 21 is 0. Now moving to the next question over here, we have determined the zeros of x squared minus 7x plus 12 all over 3x plus 2. So once again, to determine the zero of algebraic fraction, we equate the numerator to 0. So the numerator here is x squared minus 7x plus 12. So we equate that one to 0. So x squared minus 7x plus 12 is equal to 0. Now we find the product of the coefficients of x squared and the constant term 12. So the coefficients of x squared is 1 and constant term is 12. So 1 times 12 is 12. Now we find two numbers. When you multiply, you get a 12, but when you add, you get negative 7. Negative 7, and the numbers will happen to be negative 4 and negative 3. So we use negative 4, negative 3 to split negative 7, and each of them will have to be multiplied by x. So that will be x squared minus 3x minus 4x plus 12 plus 12 equal to 0. So we group them, or we put them into brackets. Now we come to the first bracket, x squared minus 3x. The common term is x, so you factor that one out. So 1x is remaining in the bracket minus 3. And 4 and 12, the highest common factor is 4. So we factor it out. What is left is x. Then the number now multiply 4 to give you 12 is 3. Okay, so that will be equal to 0. So we put x minus 4 in brackets, and then a common factor x minus 3 also in bracket equal to 0. Okay, so we have two factors here, x minus 4 and x minus 3. So we equate each of them to 0, and then we find for x. So we have x minus 4 equal to 0, therefore x is equal to 4, and then x minus 3 equal to 0, x is equal to 3. So what it means is that when you substitute 4 and 3 into the whole expression here, the numerator will be 0, and I will set the whole expression to 0. So that is the zeros of the expression. Then the last one slide is find the value of x for which 3x minus 18 over first bracket x plus 2 multiplied x minus 3 is 0. So as we have learned it earlier on, to find the zeros of algebraic fraction, we set the numerator to 0. So the numerator is 3x minus 18 equated to 0. Then we bring 18 to the right side of the equal sign, and that becomes 3x is equal to 18. And then we divide through by 3 to find the value of x. Okay, so this 3 cancel out 3. X is equal to 18 over 3. Now, how many times 3 divides 18? And that is 6. So it means the zeros of the expression given here is 6. It means when you substitute x, what is 6, into this expression, the numerator becomes 0, and that will render the whole expression to 0.